The Air Force has different types of aircraft for each task, but their fighter jets are often the most visible aircraft, carrying out a variety of missions all over types of terrain. Let's hop into the video and discuss the various jet fighters of the US. F-15 Eagle. The F-15 is a highly maneuverable, all-weather tactical fighter designed to gain and maintain air superiority on the battlefield. First commissioned in 1975, it was the Air Force's primary fighter and interceptor platform for decades. The F-15's superior maneuverability and acceleration are achieved through its high engine thrust-to-weight ratio and low wing loading, or aircraft weight-to-wing area ratio. Combined with a high thrust-to-weight ratio, the low wing loading allows the aircraft to make tight turns without sacrificing airspeed. The F-15's multi-mission avionics includes a pilot's projection display which projects all critical flight information collected by the onboard avionics onto the windshield. This display allows the pilot to track and destroy enemy aircraft without having to look at the cockpit instruments. F-15E Strike Eagle. The F-15E Strike Eagle is a two-seat variant of the F-15 Eagle, which entered service in late 1989. Thanks to a variety of avionics and electronic systems, the aircraft can operate day or night at low altitudes and in all-weather conditions. F-4 Phantom. The McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II is a two-seat twin-engine all-weather supersonic interceptor bomber originally developed by McDonnell Aircraft for the United States Navy. First commissioned with the U.S. Navy in 1960. Proving highly adaptable, it was also adopted by the U.S. Marine Corps and U.S. Air Force, and by the mid-1960s had become a staple of their respective air squadrons. The Phantom is a massive fighter with a top speed of over Mach 2.2. It can carry more than 18,000 pounds of weapons in its 9 external docking points, including air-to-air missiles, air-to-surface missiles, and various bombs. Later models featured the M61 Vulcan revolving gun. Beginning in 1959, he set 15 world records for flight performance, including absolute land speed records and absolute altitude records. During the Vietnam War, the F-4 was used extensively. It served as the primary air superiority aircraft for the Navy and Air Force and became essential in ground attack and reconnaissance roles late in the war. The Phantom has the distinction of being the last flying American fighter to achieve A status in the 20th century. During the Vietnam War, the U.S. Air Force had 1 pilot and 2 weapons systems officers, and the U.S. Navy had 1 pilot and 1 radar interceptor who scored 5 air kills against other enemy fighters and became an ace in air-to-air combat. The F-4 continued to form the bulk of the U.S. military's Air Force through the 1970s and 80s, gradually being replaced by more advanced aircraft such as the F-15 Eagle and F-16 in the U.S. Air Force, Grumman F-14 Tomcats in the U.S. Navy, and F-A-18 Hornet in the U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps. F-14 Tomcat. The Grumman F-14 Tomcat is a two-seat supersonic fighter aircraft with variable wings. The Tomcat was developed for the United States Navy's experimental combat program following the failure of the F-111B project. The F-14 was the first U.S. juvenile fighter designed to incorporate dogfighting experience against MiG fighters during the Vietnam War. The F-14 first flew in December 1970 and made the U.S. Navy's first deployment in 1974 aboard the USS Enterprise, replacing the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. The F-14 serves as the U.S. Navy's primary air superiority fighter, the U.S. Navy Fleet Defense Interceptor, and Tactical Reconnaissance Platform. In the 1990s, he added a low-altitude infrared guidance and navigation system to his night capsule and began flying precision ground missions. AV-8B Harrier II. The McDonnell Douglas AV-8B Harrier II is a single-engine attack aircraft that is the second generation of the Harrier jump jet family. Capable of vertical or short takeoff and landing, the aircraft was designed in the late 1970s as an Anglo-American development of the British Hawker Siddeley Harrier, the first operational VTOL aircraft. Dubbed the Raptor, it was mainly used for light attack or multi-role missions, ranging from close air support of ground troops to armed reconnaissance. The AV-8B is in service with the United States Marine Corps, Spanish Navy, and Italian Navy. The AV-8B variant, British Aerospace Harrier II, was developed for the British Army, while another, TAV-8B, is a dedicated two-seat trainer aircraft. The project that eventually led to the creation of the AV-8B began in the early 1970s as a joint effort between the United States and Britain to overcome the operational deficiencies of the first-generation Harrier. Early efforts focused on the powerful and upgraded Rolls-Royce Pegasus engine to dramatically increase the capabilities of the Harrier. A-10 Thunderbolt. The Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II is an American twin-engine straight-wing jetliner that was developed by Fairchild Republic in the early 1970s. The only aircraft in the U.S. Air Force dedicated solely to providing close air support to ground forces. The A-10 was designed to attack tanks, armored vehicles, and other ground targets with limited air defense. The A-10 was designed around the GAU-8 Avenger, the 30mm swivel gun, which is the main armament of the aircraft and the heaviest automatic gun of its kind in aircraft. The A-10's airframe is designed to survive, with a size of 1 1,200-pound titanium armor to protect the cockpit and aircraft systems, allowing the aircraft to continue flying after significant damage. F-117 Nighthawk. The Lockheed F-117 Nighthawk is a twin-engine single-seat stealth attack aircraft previously used by the U.S. Air Force. A product of Lockheed's Skunk Works and an evolution of the Have Blue technology demonstrator, the F-117 is the first operational aircraft designed for stealth technology. Its maiden flight was made in 1981 and reached operational status in October 1983. The F-117 was approved and presented to the world in November 1988. The F-117 was widely publicized for its role in the 1991 Persian Gulf War. The aircraft is commonly referred to as stealth aircraft, even though it is only a ground attack aircraft. The F-117 also saw combat in Yugoslavia. The only aircraft of its kind to lose the battle was shot down by the surface-to-air battery on March 27, 1999. F-22 Raptor. The Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor is a fifth-generation single-seat twin-engine super-maneuverable supersonic fighter aircraft utilizing stealth technology. It was primarily designed as an air superiority fighter, but had additional capabilities including ground attack, electronic warfare, and signal intelligence capabilities. Lockheed Martin Aeronautics is the prime contractor and is responsible for most of the F-22's airframe, weapon systems, and final assembly. Program partners Boeing Defense, Space, and Security will supply the wings, aft fuselage, avionics integration, and training systems. The aircraft was widely referred to as the F-22 and FA-22 before formally entering service as the F-22A in December 2005. Despite continued development, the U.S. Air Force considers the F-22 a critical component of its tactical air force and claims that it is unmatched by any known or planned fighter. F-35 Lightning II. The Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II is a fifth-generation single-seat, single-engine multi-role fighter family being developed to perform ground attack, reconnaissance, and air defense missions with stealth capabilities. The F-35 has three main models. The F-35A is a conventional takeoff and landing variant, the F-35B is a short takeoff and vertical landing variant, and the F-35C is a carrier-based variant. The F-35 is derived from the X-35, a product of the Joint Strike Fighter program. It was designed and built by an aerospace industry team led by Lockheed Martin. The F-35's other key industry partners include Northrop Grumman, Pratt & Whitney, and BAE Systems. The F-35 made its maiden flight on December 15, 2006. The F-35 variant is expected to provide the bulk of the manned tactical air force for the U.S. Air Force, Marine Corps, and Navy for decades to come. FA-18 Hornet. The McDonnell Douglas FA-18 Hornet is a twin-engine supersonic all-weather multi-role fighter designed as a fighter and attack aircraft. Designed by McDonnell Douglas and Northrop, the FA-18 is derived from the last YF-17 in 1970 for use by the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps. The Hornet is also used by the air forces of several other countries. The U.S. Navy's Blue Angels Flight Demonstration Squadron has used Hornets since 1986. It can carry a variety of bombs and missiles, including air-to-air and air-to-surface missiles, equipped with a 20mm M61 Vulcan cannon. It is powered by two General Electric F404 turbofan engines, giving the aircraft a high thrust-to-weight ratio. Hope you liked the video.